Welcome, Moaa family, to another episode of the Moaa Member Chat. In today's episode, we have a very special guest, Dr. Kiki Baker Barnes, the Athletic Director for Dillard University. Kiki, how are we doing today?
Doing great today. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for taking some time out of your busy day to sit down and talk with us. And now, traditionally, when we start these episodes off, we have our members just give a Cliff Notes version of their background. But given your experience, we're going to advise our members to Google you and to see all of the great accomplishments that you have earned. And so we're just going to ask you to, give your reflections on your journey, and if there's anything unique that has stuck out about your journey that you want to just enlighten us about.
Man, so you know what? I'm working on a book. So let me put that plug out there. I'm writing a book about my journey. And one of the things in the journey that was unique for me is how each thing that happens in your life is preparation for your next step. And I think the other thing that's really important, and you have to embrace each step. It's one of the things that I've been trying to figure out. We go to all of this professional development and everybody's trying to figure out, how do I get to the chair and how do I get that next opportunity? And what I have learned so far is that you can't skip the process. You can't get to the top without going through the pieces and all of the training and the development and things that need to happen so that you are prepared to do the job and do it well. And so there was a particular time, and this was during after Hurricane Katrina. I got hired. I was maybe in my second year. I was really excited. I was like 31 at the time. So I'm athletic director. I'm head women's basketball coach. I've never been an athletic director. And I'm whining. I'm whining to God about, this is so hard. Why won't you just go on and just give me all these wins I want and just make everything go away, right? I mean, oh my God. I mean, it was just awful. Like, if I had an employee or a player at that time come to me and whine the way I was whining, I just tell them, like, you know what, this isn't for you, move on. So, I mean, like, literally, I'm whining to him, right? I just don't know, this is just so hard. And I remember clearly, I'm meditating, right? And he says to me, Kiki is strength and conditioning. And I kind of stopped for a minute. Like, wait a minute. I know I'm not an athlete anymore, but I do remember when I wanted to be the best and, how I was able to, eventually go to state as a high school athlete and win the triple jump as a high school track athlete. And all those accolades came at a cost. They came at a cost of strength and conditioning. There were things that I had to go through. Strength and conditioning is the breaking down of the muscle to build it back up. It was like, well, if I'm going to have success in an area where, I'm just learning, then I have to go through it. So I have to change the way I approach showing up to work every day. I can't show up every day whining about what I don't have. I have to attack it with aggression and with positivity. And when I changed my mindset, things changed, literally. Because I said, this is strength and conditioning. So this is the equivalent of the coach saying, get on the line and make this suicide in 30 seconds. And me looking at him like, well, maybe 29. So I think I say that because the tough times is where it's at. That's where you really develop what you need to ascend to whatever it is that you desire. And I think that's one of the key stories for me that has really kind of been an anchor in what does it take to be successful? I mean, you really have to embrace adversity, and be willing to put in the work in terms of the strength and conditioning and grow and work with other people. So I don't know, that has been it was a pivotal moment for me. And things changed here when I got my mind right.
Definitely. I can't remember where I heard this at, but someone said, if you can't change your situation, you change your perspective. And so clearly you weren't going to go to another institution, when you were head coach, athletic director. So like you said, had to change your perspective on how you approach the position or positions, because that's tough. I'm not sure how those that have had dual roles as a coach and as an administrator, especially a head coach and an athletic director, it just seems like a very daunting task.
Oh, let me say this. It really is. It is tough, and that was kind of like another pivotal decision that I had to make at some point in this journey, where it was like I need to either focus on one or the other to give us the opportunity to have the best possible chance at success. And I say the best possible chance at success because nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. We've learned that through the pandemic. One day we were all planning for the Final Four here in New Orleans, and then the next day it was canceled, and it was like, well, wait a minute, what about? And everybody's asking questions, well, what about? Mm-hmm. And we've seen throughout this year that there are no guarantees. But what you want in life is you want to have the best possible chance. You want to put yourself in the best possible position to achieve what it is that you desire. And there was a point where, this may have been in year 7 for me, where I started realizing, I'm not moving the needle. We're not moving forward. And basically the reason we're not moving forward is because I'm doing too much. So I've got to hone in on one or the other. And that's what I did. So I decided to move time into administration, and then, promoted my assistant coach. And again, another chance to move the needle. And we started seeing more progress and doing well. So I definitely, again, you start looking at things, you start examining. And I think that's really important. Is a reason why you need meditation, or you have to have people that you can talk to, because finding a way to get your mind right, having the right mindset around situations and perspective will help you figure out what you need to do. And most of the time, let me be honest, and we know what we need to do. We don't trust what we know. Mm. We don't trust our inner being for whatever reasons. I mean, and there may be reasons why, and I can't speak to what it is for people, but what I do know is that when I made decisions, I already knew I should have made that decision probably long ago. There was fear, maybe, there were things that were keeping me from moving because maybe I didn't necessarily see the whole picture, so I didn't want to take the risk. But I will say at the end of the day, I knew what I needed to do. I just needed time to really sit with it and have the courage to take that step. And when I did do that, it was a good decision for our program. And again, we started seeing more progress towards the goals that we're trying to achieve in terms of, having the programs be respectable. We wanted winning programs. We wanted to, enhance our facilities. I mean, there were a lot of things that need to happen. And we were able to start doing that again when we made a decision. Okay, now it's time for me to focus on this administrative part and have someone else focus fully on basketball. So perspective and mindset is everything.
Yes, definitely. But you are no stranger to serving in different roles outside of your institution. So let's speak on Moaa. When did you start with the association, the organization, and, why do you enjoy being a part of it?
So first of all, let me just say, Dr. China June is my girl. Let me tell you that I feel like my opportunity to be a member of Moaa, I am indebted to Dr. J. I think we were having a conversation. She and I both won. We were connected when we both won Administrator of the Year for Women Leaders in College Sports in 2014 or 2015. We were both winners. She was at the Division II winner. I was the NAIA winner. She was working on her PhD at the time. I had just finished mine. And so I decided to be her accountability partner. I was like, okay, you gonna finish this PhD. We're gonna get this done and we're gonna celebrate, right? But of course, she's also doing all this work with Moaa. And so we were having some conversations. She said, I really want you to get involved with this because we need representation from the NAIA. And I was like, okay, well, I'd love to be a part of that. And so it was an invitation from Dr. J to participate. And I am so grateful to have had this opportunity to have started with Moaa. And I think I'm thinking 2016, 2017, maybe somewhere around in there is when I really got active. And then, got elected to the board. And of course, as Dr. J says, I was charged with, okay, we need you to get to working over here in the NAIA, right? And so I think here's the thing that I think is really cool though. So, and I don't know, and I'm pretty philosophical sometimes. At the time that I initially was appointed, we weren't having real conversations about diversity, if that makes any sense. Like it was kind of like, okay, we're going to get to it. And I think everybody that's worked in diversity and inclusion space has felt that way at some point. Like we're just communicating and it's falling on deaf ears. But of course, we enter into a pandemic and then you have Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd. And it's on display because remember, nothing else is going on. And all we have is what we're seeing on TV and trying to figure out like, this has got to be out of some movie. I mean, like literally, I thought we were living the end game. It's like, I felt like we were in an Avengers movie for like the last year, like, man. So you have this situation that now throws diversity and inclusion front and center. And now everybody's ready to talk about it and really talk about it. Not we just gonna hire one Black person and, we've done our diversity and inclusion, but let's really talk about it. And so now I'm in a space and I'm working with NAIA because I just finished my year as president of the NAIA ADA board. And now we're trying to really talk about it and do some things well. And I was very excited because I was like, now, like what she asked me to do has purpose now. I have purpose for what she invited me to come here to do, to be the bridge between the NAIA and to help to facilitate some real conversation around this. And so, of course, this year I was able to bring on some other NAIA members who are Moaa members. Jason Horn at Xavier is a member of our board, but also on our NAIA subcommittee. Natasha Wilson's a member of our of Moaa, and then some other people who have now joined in, and we're having conversations and working the diversity piece within the NAIA. And it has been very fulfilling to be able to now bring the two together and to really start making some headway. So I am very, very grateful for the opportunity to serve and to have been in the right place and positioned perfectly for what was needed at this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely interesting to hear how members have joined Moaa, or who has been the link, and you hear their common names from Stan to China, and I'm always just kind of taken back at how our family has grown. It's always just pretty cool to hear you all stories. So let's segue.
Dr. Nene be putting on the fire. Yeah, I was like, Dr. Nene puts on the fire symposium every year. I'm like, can I be like you when I grow up?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So let's segue slightly to, if you weren't involved in college athletics or administration in general, what would your profession, what would it have been?
Oh, well, I probably would be helping people. I'd be somewhere helping somebody figure out their life. I'd be telling people what to do, whatever it is. I make jokes about this all the time. When you figure out your gift, then your profession, you can do whatever you want to do anywhere because you know what it is that you've been created to do. So what I have been created to do and what my gift is leadership and management. This is what I've been doing this all my life. Like people ask questions. I was like, I've been telling people what to do. I was in high school Like, why are y'all doing that? It doesn't make any sense. Like, I'd always be questioning, like, when you, and then I'd say, well, you need to be doing this if you want to do this. I remember initially thinking I was going to be a counselor until I realized counselors couldn't tell people what to do. I was like, well, this ain't going to work. It's not going to work. Counselors listen. They listen and they help people come to their own decision. I'm like, well, I learned to do that. That's helped me be a better leader and administrator. But at some point, you got to tell people where they need to go. They need direction. So in any space that I'm in, wherever I am, what committee I'm on, what group, I'm usually telling people what to do. But with compassion and with understanding. Those are the gifts I feel like that God has personally given me that help me put the edge on being bossy. Because I took the counseling courses to help me understand the importance of listening and communication and really understanding where people are. And once I hear and understand where they are, then I know how to help them move to their next level. So I think at the core of who I am, I'm a cheerleader and a coach. That's the core of who I am, a cheerleader and a coach, helping motivate and inspire people to believe in themselves, believe in the gifts that they have been given, and then helping direct them on the things that will help them to be the best version of themselves. Literally. I mean, I manage that way. The people that I hire, literally in my mind, I have a team. I'm coaching a team. I'm learning them. I'm learning what they're good at, what they're not so good at. Encouraging them in the spaces where I know that they are the strongest. And if there are some places where I think they could show up and be a little bit better, okay, then what is the support that you need to do that? And trying to provide that, but also always saying that know who you are and always operate fully in that. So I show up every day with the intention of making somebody a little bit better. And I think that segued into some of the work that I'm doing. So I started a program in 2018, So You Want a Career in Athletics. And the idea was around young girls in high school and college wanting to aspire to the roles that we have now. I was like, when I was in high school, at no point did I think I could do this work. I was in college around administrators. At no point did I think I could do the work, nor did I see anybody that looked like me. So how much more powerful would it be for young women to see us and know that we exist, to aspire and to be connected? So I was like, okay, so I got to do this. I got to connect with people. And the beauty of the industry is that with Moaa and other organizations that I'm a member of, you get to connect with people from all levels. So it's not just I'm with the NAIA people, with NCAA, like literally I know everybody from every division, right? So I kind of see myself now in this space as a bridge, because I have the relationships over here, but people love me in terms of they just love me. And I don't know how to explain. I feel like that's the gift of God, but people really love me. I don't know how to explain that, but they do. So, and they listen to me and they trust me. So if they listen and trust me, then there is a responsibility that I have to do the right thing and to make sure that their trust is not misplaced. So being in the middle, high school, undergraduates, having relationships with industry, now I've got to be the bridge and connect those two. And so I've been doing that work. I'm going to do my first academy actually this summer. I've had 2 years where I've done a partnership with the New Orleans Pelicans here, and we've worked with their female executives to talk about their careers and connect young women. We just recently did one for National Girl and Women's Sport Day. But I also kind of see that as part of my work, my life's work. You know, whether I was working in athletics or not, that's part of the life's work. And then the other piece of it is, how do I then also start helping those who are getting in the chair now? So like literally, wait, I've been an athletic director for 15 years.
Wow.
Like, so what knowledge and what I have that could be helpful to a person who's just getting in the chair? Like, I think about all the things that I went through that I didn't know, and I was trying to figure out, okay, so how do I pull those things together and then start helping those who are just now getting into the industry and help give them the best possible chance of success. Because again, nothing's guaranteed. But if we can provide the support, if I can be a listening ear, this is kind of, again, the coaching side of that. If I can do that, then where does that put a new administrator in terms of their trajectory for being successful? Because it's important when we get the opportunities that we're successful. You know that
Yes.
still exists. So we want to make sure they have the best possible chance of success. So I've also been doing some leadership development. I went to John Maxwell's leadership certification. I got that like 3 or 4 years ago, but been sitting on it. But now I kind of feel like, okay, now it's time to start putting myself in the space and figure out how I can start helping new administrators who are getting into these roles. So
Absolutely. And
this is what I do.
and we definitely appreciate it. And speaking as a younger administrator within the field, and had I known that this was even a profession, it could have definitely changed my outlook as a student athlete. Would have gotten to graduate school probably sooner than when I actually did go through grad school. And so just like you say, you work off the information, you make decisions off the information that you currently have. And so to provide, young men, young women information sooner in high school, I think is definitely beneficial for the pipeline. And it only helps our industry go we already know the numbers that there are not a lot of minorities within administration, and we're definitely doing our best to improve those numbers, but to make sure that we get the information as soon as possible and getting these young men and women in positions to understand the industry is definitely beneficial in all.
Absolutely.
But you said you were part of a team, so you're also a part of another team as the co-host of the Big Time Sports Show. Just wanted to your comments on that experience and what do you enjoy about doing that show?
Man, so let me tell y'all something. So remember, I told you I thought I was going to be doing radio and all this kind of stuff, TV. I thought that was going to be my career. So for me, the Big Time Sports Show is like this opportunity to live out this dream that I've always had to be a media personality. I have a good time. I've taken a couple of weeks off because I'm tired, just to be honest. I need a break. I've been going from 8 to 8, like non-stop for like the last 7 months. I'm like, I need a break. But I'll tell you what I like, what I've had the opportunity to do on the show that I'm most proud of. On Wednesdays, we call it Winning Women Wednesday. And on Wednesdays is the opportunity that I have to help amplify the voices of young women administrators who are rising stars. We have the Moaa Rising Star program. So I was like, I have a platform. And one of the things I initially said was like, I don't need no more publicity personally, in terms of who I am. That's not what needs to happen here. I've been given this opportunity, then that's me being the cheerleader. That's amplifying voices of others. And so I am really thrilled now to have the opportunity to amplify other young women who are up and coming and are making their way in the industry. And so I think if I had to say what I'm most proud of, that is one of the things I am most proud of. Because again, I think when you are given larger platforms, you have larger responsibility. And everything is not about you, or not about me. But you have to, again, and so those things are really critical to me. Yeah. So I love it. It's so much fun. And I make jokes. We have a segment where we'll say we're going down the rabbit hole. So I like to take us off topic. So we'll start talking about sports and then I'll find a way to make it about entertainment or something really funny. And it usually gets us off. I think one time we were talking about coming to America, some kind of way we got to Coming to America. Maybe it was that part where he goes to the game and he's like, yes, in the face. So we got off talking about the movie and Coming to America, but it's sports related because we were talking about the sports the
Yeah.
sports scene in the movie. But I really enjoy kind of just being able to chop it up and have a little fun and talk about sports a little bit. So that's what I'm doing. It's fun. I'm grateful.
Yes, and you actually, it's a great segue. You spoke to a segment on Wednesdays regarding highlighting the women administrators, and it's March, so it is Women's History Month. Could you kind of elaborate on the importance of this month and the great accomplishments that we have by women? Kind of to speak on that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful time again to look at the contributions of women to society. And of course, this comes on the heels of Black History Month, where we have, really spent time looking at, literally we built the country. Everything that we created, we did that. And haven't necessarily been acknowledged. People are confused about how we got where we are, and it's really weird sometimes. I'm like, do y'all not understand that literally everything that exists is because we were working so hard that we had to create ways to make it a little bit easier for ourselves? Slave masters would have done that for us. Anyway, so I feel some kind of way sometimes because, anyway, I'm gonna let that go. But Black History, is a great month. And then we move into women's history because, of course, women, were suppressed as well. And, our voices weren't heard. And we were, of course, making significant contributions to society as well. So it's a great time to continue to amplify and be a cheerleader for one another and to highlight what we bring to the table. And when we talk about diversity and inclusion, which is, again, what our organization stands for, it's never at the exclusion of someone else. It's just saying, hey, we bring this value to the party. And if we can bring what we have and you bring the best that you have, how much better could we be as an organization, as a community, as a country, if we're all bringing the best of what we have? And that is what inclusion is about. Diversity and inclusion is about, and why it's important that those accomplishments of women are celebrated. So that's kind of what it means to me. It's a lot of fun. I get to talk about my mommy too, my aunt, and the women who have made, a strong impact on my life. I'm inspired by my mentees. Tony Derby, I swear, I think is everybody's mentee. We love her. Kadeja Cryer, my assistant Kyra, Loretta Martin, the young lady who's been with me here for 15 years. She's associate head women's basketball coach. Norbert, my head women's basketball coach. Like my mentees, Robin was a Rising Star. I nominated her for the Rising Star program. She is like championing gymnastics programs at HBCUs. That's how we met. I wanted to go to HBCU and they didn't have gymnastics. She's actually, I think, at University of Wisconsin, one of the Wisconsin. I have young people, and that's not all of them, but those are the ones that I've probably spent the most time with. I'm so inspired by them, inspired by their tenacity. I'm inspired by their positivity. I'm inspired by their level of aggression towards what they want. And maybe aggression isn't not but get after it. They're going to go for it. They're going to go big or go home. I'm so inspired by them. And it makes me want to be better. It's like, I got to be better, but also be real. So I think there's this thing with women where we think that we have to be perfect and we can't allow our flaws, for them to see flaws. But I will tell you that in my relationships with them, like I give them the good, bad, and the ugly. I don't hide. They've seen me cry when it's been hard. Like they've seen me cry when I'm in the office, and I'm having a really tough day. I'm dealing with some situations and I'm trying to manage that. Like they've seen that happen, and I've cried. And then I've talked to them why. I was like, this is what I'm experiencing. This is why I feel this way. I've talked to them about, I'm a workaholic. Let me just be honest. I was like, okay, so you can't do this. This is not. So we're going to figure out better ways for you to have better work-life balance. Because I don't want you to do this, even though, I mean, this is what I do. You can still work hard and take a break. So when there have been behaviors that I see that aren't healthy, like we talked about them, and I'm like, yeah, I know this is what you see me do. Don't do this. I want you to be better. So I feel like, in terms of when we're talking about Women's History Month, mentorship and those kind of pieces, and having this responsibility to this next generation of leaders, I feel like we have a duty to be honest with them about where we are, what those challenges are, and what it will take to get the job done and do it well.
Absolutely. Now, you have had a chance to be in the presence of some pretty, significant individuals, and you speak to just being inspired by your mentees. Is there a sports figure or a historical figure that, if you had the chance, that you haven't met previously, if you had the chance to, have a conversation with this individual, who would that person or persons be?
Okay, so let me think about this. If I could meet, who I really want? I want to meet FloJo. That's who I would want to meet. FloJo was my first inspiration to run track when I was probably, 84, 88 Olympics, I think. So maybe fourth grade, 84. Olympics were in 84. Okay. 84 was the first time where I the athletic bug, like it was like I wanted to be her. She was beautiful and she was powerful. I mean, she was amazing. I think that if I had that, I would have loved to talk to her about, her journey, like what it took. I mean, she still, if I'm correct, I think she still got the record. She still has the record, I think, for the 100-yard dash. I would have liked to have a conversation with her about, about the style, the flair, like why was she so flamboyant? Like, and what did it take for her to be authentically her in that space at that time? But yeah, FloJo was my first inspiration, literally. I never got into the nails though. Like, when I grew up, I started realizing, like, if I was gonna play basketball, no, nails don't go with basketball.
Yeah, no,
but that
would not.
She definitely was my first inspiration. Yes, I think it'd be FloJo. Yeah, she'd be the one that I'd like to go back and I'd like to get her autograph and take a picture.
No, great choice.
I'd be totally faded out. Let me just do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we are at the portion of the show where we give our Moaa member minute chance for you to either give some personal or professional advice to our Moaa family. So without further ado, this is your Moaa member minute.
All right. In terms of wanting to move up, I know that a lot of you are looking to move up in the career and you're trying to figure out what take or how do you get there. I have a quote that I always like to share. And the quote goes like this: commitment to your craft will lend credibility to your competency. The most important thing is that you are the best at what you do. And when you are really good at what you do, you will have a chance to advance.
That's great. That's great. I'm gonna borrow that from you. I like that. I like that a lot. But I will definitely give you all the credit for that. Absolutely. So we want to thank you again, Dr. Kiki Baker Barnes, for joining us in the Moaa member chat. And Moaa family, as always, I'm your host, Michael Bazemore. So stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned.